This is TWiT.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? I am Pruitt. I am the host of Hands on Photography here on TWiT TV. And today I am going to talk about a product that was sent over to me to give a quick review and demo, if you will. Actually, I'm just reviewing it right now. I'm not going to do a live demo on the screen, but it is the Veikk 2200 Pro. What the heck is that? Well, folks, this is an absolute champ of an alternative to the world of Wacom tablets. All right, so if you've been following along on Hands-on Photography, you know from time to time, I highly recommend getting yourself a Wacom tablet when it comes to post-processing. And they range anywhere from maybe $100 all the way up to $2,000 in pricing, and it's got various features and so on and so forth. I typically use some of the less expensive ones for most of my jobs because it's sort of quick and easy to pick it up and carry it around and so forth. It connects via USB, easy, or it can even do Bluetooth. But if I really want to do something more serious, like doing some retouching of a model, I have the more expensive Cintiq up there, Cintiq 16, that gives me a full display right in front of me with the stylus that I can really dive into the pixels and do what I need to do as far as the retouching goes. Now, the folks at Veikk reached out and said, hey, we heard you talking about Wacom, so why don't you check out our product? And I said, yeah, sure, whatever. And I got to admit, I was a bit skeptical, okay, because I've been doing this for several years now, and over the years, there have been a lot of different competitors to the folks at Wacom, and I've tried them out, didn't care for them. There was always some type of issue with those different devices, and I always ended up going back to the Wacom brand because they just have so much more consistency in the performance side of things. So what I want to do today is just sort of go through the quick tech specs of the Veikk 2200 Pro and tell you my experience. First off, this thing is a display. This is a full display. It's 21 inches HD IPS display. You're going to get 100% coverage of sRGB. You're going to get over 8,000 levels of pen pressure when using the stylus, which is pretty standard for Wacom. And quite frankly, 8,000 is a lot, but if you had 6,000, you wouldn't know the difference. That's neither here nor there. Next up, is compatible with the likes of Windows and Mac OS, just like a Wacom, but it's also compatible with the Linux side of things. So if you have a Chromebook and Chrome OS, you can even use it on Chrome OS. It comes with a bunch of different buttons. It has 4 buttons at the top and bottom on the left hand side, and then it has these 2 rotary dials on the top, of one on the top and one on the bottom. And I love having that particular bit of a user interface built in right there, because on the Wacom side of things, that is an additional charge. So how does this compare, this 2200 Pro, how does this compare to a comparable Wacom tablet? So let's compare it to the 2 pen displays of Wacom. You have the Wacom 16, it's Wacom Cintiq 16, but you also have the Wacom Cintiq Pro, which is usually a 21-inch display. Okay, so the Cintiq 16, it's a bit smaller, but it is still a full display, and you can get one for roughly $600 or so, somewhere in that ballpark on Amazon and online. Now the Cintiq Pro, which is a much larger screen, this one is 21 inches, the Veikk 2200 Pro, this is 21 inches. The Wacom Cintiq Pro is 21 inches, and it's a 4K screen and not HD, and that one's going to cost you about $2,000 right out the gate. Is it worth it? Maybe, depends on it. But when I got my hands on the Veikk, I said, you know what, this looks pretty daggum good. The 4K display, yeah, that would be better, but this HD looks really good when it's up close and personal from an ergonomic standpoint. And then there's the likes of when you're using a Cintiq Pro, it comes with an additional remote control that you hold in your hand, your opposite hand of the stylus, because that remote control has extra buttons on it for hotkeys. So like if you're inside of Photoshop and you're trying to switch quickly from the brush tool to the gradient tool or whatever, you can set up a hotkey to do that while you're just going through your particular retouching and whatnot. Well, on the Veikk 2200 Pro, You don't need that because the buttons are built in on the left-hand side of the screen. Just use the Veikk software that you install to set up all of the different configurations as far as how the rotary dials will work or how the buttons will work. If you want to make the brush size bigger, just hit a button. Make it smaller, hit a button, switch to a different tool, hit a button. Very, very convenient having it right there without having to have an additional remote and an additional charge when it comes on the Wacom side. From a connectivity standpoint, this thing connects to your computer via a USB-C out and USB-C into your computer, or you can use some of the additional cables just in case you don't have USB-C on your computer. And it also has to connect via an HDMI port. And again, there's adapters for that if you don't have HDMI in on your computer. So it's basically 2 ports for connectivity and 1 power port for AC power to connect into it. Very clean on the back, very simple. And it has a stand that's already built into it. So it allows you to set this up in an ergonomic standpoint. If you want to raise it up to make it look a little bit more like a display in front of you, you can. But if you want to tilt it all the way back, it'll go down from 15 degrees to 85 degrees on the tilt to allow you to put it down as if it's a pad on your desk when you're doing your retouching or drawing or sketching and so forth. I really dig this. The performance on it is great. This thing, the latency on it is damn near not there, similar to the Wacom. You don't have to worry about if you move your stylus in your hand, will the cursor on the screen keep up with you? Will there be any parallax? No, there's none there. I totally surprised. Like I said, I've been dealing with this stuff for several years now, and this is the first one that I saw and said, you know what? Wacom might want to watch out for this. This technology has come a long way, and it's nice to see that there's some competition in here. The cons on this, there's only 2 cons that really come to my mind, or actually maybe it's 3. So the back of this device, you have the mounting options on a Wacom side of things, but on the back of the Veikk, there's really no mounting options. With Wacom, you can take the stand off of it and connect it via Visa mount if you want to put it on your desk and have it swivel around and things like that. It's an additional cost, of course, but you do have that option. There's no option with the Veikk side of things. It's still just a static stand on the back of it to allow you to do the easel adjustment kinds of things. So that's one con. The other kind is the dials. Yes, I like the actual buttons and dials that are built into this display, but unfortunately it's only on the left-hand side. So for folks that are left-handed with the stylus, you're stuck. I'm right-handed, so it works out perfectly for me, but the folks that are left-handed, you're pretty much stuck with having those buttons on the left-hand side right there, the same side with your stylus use. Lastly, the actual stylus itself. Let me see if I can switch my camera here. Let's do that there. This is the stylus, and I'm going to compare it to one of the Wacom stylus. This is my Cintiq Wacom stylus, and this is the Veikk stylus. And if you look at them, they're very, very similar, but the Wacom stylus has this little rubber sleeve on it, and that just feels good in the hands. Outside of that, this one feels just like my Wacom Intuos stylus, the Veikk stylus does. It feels just like my Intuos. And the Intuos is a less expensive Wacom tablet, and I figured this one should have a little bit more of a premium feel to it. Yes, you get good performance with it, but it just doesn't have a premium feel to it the way this Wacom one has a premium feel to it, with that just that little extra bit of rubber around it. The little sleeve just feels good in the hands. That's all. That's my beef with it. So anyway, overall, I don't think you can go wrong with this if you're looking to get into the world of displays, display tablets for your creativity, and the Wacom price line is just a bit too much for you. I would definitely check this out. It's the Veikk 2200 Pro. You can get it online right now for $499 on their website. Because again, if you compare this to the likes of Amazon, let me see if I can pull up the Amazon site here. So if I look at Amazon right now, and just search for Cintiq. The Cintiq 16 is $649. And then another one $649, and this is the Pro with some additional stuff that's over $1,000. This is the Flex Arm to add to these. That's another $300, $400. It's Wacom can get quite pricey, but again, they've earned it. I mean, because they're the king in the space, so they can charge a premium because of their reputation. I get that, but this one pleasantly surprised me. So I'm going to give them a shout out, and I want to say thanks to them for sending this over for me to try it out, because it's pretty daggum cool for the bang of the buck kind of thing. So that's the Veikk 2200 Pro. Check them out on their website. We will put links in the show note just in case you're interested in trying it out for yourself. All right, that's it. I'm Pruitt. Make sure you check out my show, Hands on Photography. That's twit.tv/hop. And we will continue to create and dominate that gummit. All right, folks, y'all take care.